Hello children, I am Bindu. Today I shall teach you human eye from the chapter Light of Physical Science of grade 8. Recapitulation. Refraction is a property of light. When light enters from one medium to another medium, either light bends in or bends out to the normal at point of incidence. This is called refraction. The refraction of light in a medium depends on the speed of light in that medium. The refractive index is a ratio of the speed of light in the air to the speed of light in that particular medium. Refractive index of any transparent medium is always greater than 1. Splitting of white light into its 7 constituent colors, wavelength, on passing through a transparent medium is known as dispersion of light. The formation of a rainbow is an example of the dispersion of white light. Learning objectives: human eye, care of the eyes, visually impaired persons can read and write. Non-optical and optical aids for the visually impaired. What is the Braille system? Keywords: pupil, retina, rods, cone, blind spot, cornea, eyelid, Braille. This is the mind map of light. We see things only when light coming from them entering our eyes. The eye is one of our most important sense organs. It is therefore important to understand its structure and working. The eye has a roughly spherical shape. The outer coat of the eye is white. It is tough so that it can protect the interior of the eye from accidents. Its transparent front part is called cornea. Behind the cornea, we find a dark muscular structure called iris. In the iris, there is a small opening called the pupil. The size of the pupil is controlled by the iris. The iris is that part of the eye which gives its distinctive color. When we say that a person has green eyes, we refer actually to the color of the iris. The iris controls the amount of light entering into the eye. Behind the pupil of the eye is a lens that is thicker in the center. What kind of lens is thicker at the center? The lens focuses light on the back of the eye on a layer called the retina. The retina contains several nerve cells. Sensations felt by the nerve cells are then transmitted to the brain through the optic nerve. There are two kinds of cells: cones, which are sensitive to bright light, and rods, which are sensitive to dim light. Cone cells sense color. At the junction of the optic nerve and the retina, there are no sensory cells, so no vision is possible at that spot. This is called the blind spot. The impression of an image does not vanish immediately from the retina. It persists there for about 1/16th of a second. So, if still images of a moving object are flashed on the eye at a rate faster than 16 per second, then the eye perceives this object as moving. Nature has provided eyes with eyelids to prevent any object from entering the eye. Eyelids also shut out the light when not required. An eye is such a wonderful instrument that it can clearly see distant objects as well as objects nearby. The minimum distance at which the eye can see objects distinctly varies with age. The most comfortable distance at which one can read with a normal eye is about 25 centimeters. Some persons can see objects close to them clearly, but cannot see distant objects so clearly. On the other hand, some people cannot see objects nearby clearly, but they can see distant objects quite well. With suitable corrective lenses, these defects of the eye can be corrected. Sometimes, particularly in old age, eyesight becomes foggy. It is due to the eye lens becoming cloudy. When it happens, persons are said to have cataracts. There is a loss of vision, sometimes extremely severe. It is possible to treat this defect. The opaque lens is removed and new artificial lens is inserted. Modern technology has made this procedure simpler and safer. It is necessary that you take proper care of your eyes. If there is any problem, you should go to an eye specialist. Have a regular checkup. If advised, use suitable spectacles. Too little or too much light is bad for the eyes. Insufficient light causes eye strain and headaches. Too much light, like that of the sun, a powerful lamp, or a laser torch, can injure the retina. Do not look at the sun or a powerful light directly. Never rub your eyes. If particles of dust go into your eyes, wash your eyes with clean water. If there is no improvement, go to a doctor. Always read at the normal distance for vision. Do not read by bringing the book too close to your eyes or keeping it too far. If food is deficient in some components, the eyes may also suffer. The lack of vitamin A in foodstuff is responsible for many eye troubles. The most common among them is night blindness. One should therefore include in the diet components which have vitamin A: raw carrots, broccoli, green vegetables such as spinach and cod liver oil are rich in vitamin A. Eggs, milk, curd, cheese, butter and fruits such as papaya and mango are also rich in vitamin A. Visually impaired persons can read and write. Some persons, including children, can be visually impaired. They have very limited vision to see things. Some persons cannot see at all since birth. Some persons may lose their eyesight because of a disease or an injury. Such persons try to identify things by touching and listening to voices more carefully. They develop their other senses more sharply. However, additional resources can enable them to develop their capabilities further. What is the Braille system? The most popular resource for visually challenged persons is Braille. The present system was adapted in 1932. There is Braille code for common languages, mathematics, and scientific notation. Many Indian languages can be read using the Braille system. Visually impaired people learn the Braille system by beginning with letters, then special characters and letter combinations. Methods depend upon recognition by touching. Each character has to be memorized. Braille text can be produced by hand or by machine. Typewriter-like devices and printing machines have now been developed. Louis Braille, himself a visually challenged person, developed a system for visually challenged persons and published it in 1821. Braille system has 63 dot patterns or characters. Each character represents a letter, a combination of letters, a common word, or a grammatic sign. Dots are arranged in cells of 2 vertical rows of 3 dots each. Patterns of dots to represent some English letters and some common words are shown below. These patterns, when embossed on Braille sheets, help visually challenged persons to recognize words by touching them. To make them easier to touch, the dots are raised slightly. Some visually impaired Indians have great achievements to their credit. Devakar, a child prodigy, has given amazing performances as a singer. Ravindra Jain, born completely visually impaired, obtained his Sangeet Prabhakar degree from Allahabad. He had shown his excellence as a lyricist, singer, and music composer. Lal Advani, himself visually impaired, established an association for special education and rehabilitation of the disabled in India. Besides this, he represented India on Braille problems at UNESCO. Helen A. Keller, an American author and lecturer, is perhaps the most well-known and inspiring visually challenged person. She lost her sight when she was only 18 months old. But because of her resolve and courage, she could complete her graduation from a university. She wrote several books, including The Story of My Life in 1903. Animals have eyes shaped in different ways. The eyes of a crab are quite small, but they enable the crab to look all around. So, the crab can sense even if the enemy approaches from behind. Butterflies have large eyes that seem to be made up of thousands of little eyes. They can see not only the front and the sides, but the back as well. A night bird, owl, can see very well at the night, but not during the day. On the other hand, daylight birds, kite, eagle, can see well during the day, but not at night. The owl has a large cornea and a large pupil to allow more light in its eye. Also, it has on its retina a large number of rods and only few cones. The day birds, on the other hand, have more cones and fewer rods. What have you learned? Parts of the eye are cornea, iris, pupil, lens, retina, and optic nerve. A normal eye can see nearby and distant objects clearly. Visually impaired persons can read and write using the Braille system. Visually impaired persons develop their other senses more sharply to improve their interaction with their environment.